What happens when Porsche takes one of its most loved sports cars, the 718 Boxster and Cayman, and decides to build the next generation as a fully electric machine? This is not just another car launch. It is the start of a new chapter for Porsche and for the world of sports cars. Many people know the 718 as a symbol of balance, agility, and pure driving fun. The Boxster gave drivers the open-top feeling of freedom, while the Cayman offered a sharp coupe shape for purists. Both were known for their mid-engine layout, lightweight, and direct steering. They were not about being the fastest in a straight line, but about giving the driver confidence and enjoyment in every corner. That heritage is now being transformed as Porsche prepares to move the 718 into the electric future. The petrol-powered 718 that we know today will end global production around 2025, and the replacement will be fully electric. This means no petrol engines, no turbos, no exhaust sound. Instead, Porsche is promising that the new 718 EV will deliver the same kind of excitement in a completely different way. Both the Boxster convertible and the Cayman coupe will continue as body styles, so fans of either shape will still have their choice. The idea is to respect the past while embracing the future. What makes this project different is that Porsche is not simply taking a normal battery and putting it under the floor like most electric cars. Instead, engineers are designing a brand new platform made for sports cars. The battery will be stacked behind the seats in a mid-mounted position. This may sound like a small detail, but it is very important. In the current petrol models, the engine sits in the middle, which gives the car its famous balance. By putting the battery pack in a similar place, Porsche wants to keep that same feeling. It is an attempt to keep the magic alive even when the power source changes. This design choice is also about handling. Many electric cars feel heavy and flat because their batteries are spread out under the whole floor. That works for comfort and stability, but it does not always give the sharpness that sports car drivers love. By focusing the mass in the middle, Porsche is hoping to keep the car agile, quick to turn, and more alive in the driver's hands. This is a clear sign that Porsche understands the expectations of its fans. When it comes to looks, the next generation 718 is expected to remain close in size to the current car, but with a more modern shape. Expect smoother lines, aerodynamic surfaces, and details that show it is an electric car, like a closed front grille and futuristic lighting. Yet the design will still be recognizable as a Porsche. The proportions of the Boxster and Cayman are strong, and Porsche knows not to change them too much. The goal is to signal progress without losing identity. Driving experience is where Porsche is putting the most effort. They are very clear that this must not feel like a simple electric appliance. Steering feel, brake response, and cornering behavior are all being tuned to remind drivers of what makes a Porsche special. Technologies used in racing, especially in regenerative braking and power delivery, are being brought into the 718 EV to make sure it does not just go fast, but also feels alive. For Porsche, it is not enough to match numbers on paper. The emotional connection between car and driver is the real target. This car is not only about replacing petrol with electric power, it is about proving that sports cars can survive and even grow in a new age. It is about showing that an electric Porsche can be as fun and rewarding as the classics. This is why the project is so important, not only for the brand, but for the whole idea of driving enjoyment in a future without combustion engines. The story of the 718 EV is the story of change, risk, and hope. Now you know the history, the reason behind the shift, the special platform, and the design direction. But this is only the beginning. The bigger questions are about performance, range, charging speed, pricing, and when exactly this car will arrive. These answers are waiting in the second part, where we will look at what the Porsche 718 EV will offer on the road and in the market. The next question everyone wants answered is how the Porsche 718 EV will perform and what numbers we can expect from it. While Porsche has not shared every detail, there is enough information to understand the direction. The base versions are expected to use a single motor powering the rear wheels, which stays true to the tradition of lightweight, driver-focused sports cars. Higher versions are likely to use dual motors with all-wheel drive, which will bring more grip and much more power. Some reports suggest that the top models could reach extremely high horsepower figures, but the main focus is not simply raw speed. Porsche wants this car to keep the same balance and control that made the petrol Boxster and Cayman special. Range is another important factor for any electric car. For the 718 EV, estimates suggest a distance of around 400 to 520 kilometers on a single charge, depending on the version. In miles, that is about 250 to 320. This is possible thanks to Porsche using an advanced high-voltage battery system. The company already has experience with the Taycan, which uses 800-volt technology for very fast charging. A similar, or even more advanced system is expected in the 718 EV, which means drivers will be able to recharge quickly on long trips. This will help the car stay practical while still being a performance machine. The mid-mounted battery layout is not only about handling, but also about keeping the center of gravity low. This design helps the car stay stable in corners and gives it a more natural driving character. It is one of the biggest technical points that separates the 718 EV from many other electric cars on the market. Porsche is showing that they do not want the 718 to just be another fast EV. They want it to be a real sports car that happens to be electric. When it comes to versions, fans can expect both the Boxster EV, which will keep the open-top feeling, and the Cayman EV, which will be the coupe option. Porsche has always offered both, and this is not changing. There will likely be different trims, starting with a base model and moving up to more powerful S or GTS versions. In the future, even higher performance editions like GT4-style variants could appear. But for now, the focus is on the main launch models. Price is always a big topic. Current information suggests that the new 718 EV will be more expensive than the petrol version. Estimates place the starting price in the United States at around $80,000 to $85,000. That puts it above the current 718 but still below the larger Taycan. This makes sense because Porsche wants the 718 EV to stay as an entry point into Porsche sports cars, while also reflecting the higher cost of electric technology. In other markets, the price will of course vary, but it will remain a premium product. The timeline for launch is officially targeted at 2025. However, some reports suggest there could be delays, possibly pushing the global rollout to 2026 or even 2027 in certain regions. Porsche is careful about quality and performance, so they will not release the car until it meets their standards. Meanwhile, the petrol 718 may remain available in limited versions, especially special GT models. But the main focus of the future is clearly electric. There are also challenges that cannot be ignored. Electric cars are heavier, and even with clever engineering, the 718 EV will carry more weight than the petrol car. The question is how much this will affect agility. Another challenge is emotion. For many drivers, part of the Porsche experience is the sound and the feeling of a combustion engine. The electric car will be silent compared to that, so Porsche must find other ways to give drivers the thrill they expect. Charging is another factor. While the car may support very fast charging, the availability of charging stations will depend on each market. These are issues that every electric car faces, and Porsche is working to address them as best as possible. In the end, the Porsche 718 EV represents a bold step forward. It is not only about numbers or technology, it is about proving that the spirit of a true sports car can survive in the electric age. Porsche is risking a lot by changing one of its most loved models, but if they succeed, the 718 EV could become the example that shows the world what electric sports cars can truly be. It could carry the same role as the petrol 718 once did, inspiring drivers and setting new standards for handling and fun. This brings us to the close of this video. We have seen how Porsche is moving from petrol to electric, why the 718 EV is different from most other EVs, and what to expect in terms of performance, design, and market arrival. Whether you are a fan of classic engines or excited for the electric future, the 718 EV is one of the most important cars of this decade. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, do not forget to like and subscribe for more updates on cars and technology.